Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is my son Griffin, and today I am sharing my postpartum must-haves for mama. If you are a mama about to give birth, or you know someone who is, I am so glad that you are here watching this video because it means you're preparing and setting yourself up for this postpartum time, which is crucial and benefits your whole family and you and your baby. So I'm just so happy and proud of you that you are here. So let me know down in the comments how far along you are in your pregnancy. And don't forget to come over to my Instagram and my YouTube channel and my podcast, depending on where you're listening or watching this, and say hello. All those links are below. So I had my son about 6 months ago now, which is just crazy. And I'm gonna share with you some of the things that I am so happy that I had for myself postpartum. Just to be clear, these are not baby items. These are mama items. So items that help me to heal and feel supported in this super, super important time. I wanted to make this video because although I do think I did a pretty good job preparing for postpartum, I did not realize how intense the healing would be for my vagina and how much support would really be desired in this time. I feel like one of the reasons we have so much postpartum depression is because we're really not meant to do this alone. And the postpartum period requires a tremendous amount of support. You will likely want help for at the very least 40 days, but I'd even say the first 3 months. And we're even at 6 months now. And I often want more help when my husband is working or out of the house. Most of the time he works from home. So if I need a break or I need a little bit of support, his schedule is really flexible, which is super nice. But I know most people don't have that situation. I am really blessed that my mom lives within 30 minutes of here, so she can come over whenever I need help when my husband's gonna be gone for the day. And she came over almost every day at the beginning of postpartum for about a week. I needed help bathing, walking around, making food, cleaning, laundry, emotional support. It was amazing. If asking for help is hard for you, then this is a time that you really get to let that go. Because as I said, we were not meant to do this alone, and you 100% will need help for your family and your baby. So set yourself up before the big day comes and let people know beforehand how they can help you, how they can support you, what you might need help with in advance, and the ways that you need people to reach out and offer support. I even made a binder before I gave birth with a list of recipe suggestions, a grocery list, notes for my husband for what I needed from him during the labor, instructions for people who might come over and do laundry for us, and stuff like that, so that I didn't have to think about it in the moment when I was bonding with my baby. So give people a list of things that they can do when the time comes so they know, and you don't have to delegate while you're in it. I think people often think they want to come over and hold the baby, and that's really not what's most supportive in the moment. Maybe it is, maybe you do need someone to hold the baby so you can go take a bath or whatever it is, but things around the house are going to be really, really helpful for you to have help with. Things like laundry, cleaning, cooking, picking up groceries, babysitting other children if you have more kids, little things around the house, watering the plants, whatever that stuff is for you. I promise you are not going to want to do any of that, and you're not going to want your partner doing it either, because while this was happening, while we were in it, I was saying to myself, I really feel like this is a 3-person job minimum. So if you're planning to birth your baby soon, please take care of your future self by preparing to have support. If you know someone who is freshly or very freshly postpartum, please reach out and offer to do things for them. Whatever is in your wheelhouse in terms of offering support. I cannot tell you how much that support we had in those early weeks was a godsend and allowed me to rest and bond with baby. I really hope we can rework our culture to honor this sacred time and be better at helping families and mamas when they're in this window. But that's a whole other video. I myself really had no idea how much support would be needed in the moment, even though I did feel like I prepared. So this is a very honest list, and it's not meant to scare you, but also I wish I would have been a little bit more mentally prepared for this time to be as hard as it was, at least for me. So I hope you can use this information to help support you and empower you and your future self, and be prepared when the time comes, which will pay off majorly. So the number one thing I recommend is setting yourself up a meal train. You are going to want help with having meals ready so that you can spend all the time you can resting and bonding with your new baby. So create a meal train at mealtrain.com, where you list out your favorite restaurants, preferred foods for postpartum, so people can either order you takeout, DoorDash, or bring you something home cooked, which is ideal. Keep in mind, you want to stick to easy to digest foods that are nutrient dense, iron rich, and collagen rich, like stewed meats, soups, bone broths, cooked down vegetables, ghee, congee, homemade gelatin gummies, molasses, things like that. So you want to avoid cold and raw foods for the most part. You want foods that are easy to digest, because your body is going to be in a deep state of healing, and you want digestion to be super easy. So stay away from spice and things like garlic or other things that may irritate you or your baby's digestion, especially if you're breastfeeding. The other thing with cold versus warm foods is postpartum is a very cold time where your body can easily go into a state of cold, and it is really important to stay warm. So you want warming foods like soups, porridges, stews, things like that that are going to keep you warm from the inside out. Postpartum is a highly nutritionally demanding time, so it's really important for breast milk production, healing, and mental emotional health that you are nourishing yourself often and with good food. So you're gonna be hungry, and it's gonna be important that you eat as much as your body is asking for. Number 2 is freezer meals. So I prepared meals beforehand and had friends that gave me frozen meals as well, like soups, meatballs and sauce, casseroles, energy balls with like dates and nuts, frozen meat that was portioned out, just things that are easy to set into the fridge to defrost and eat for the next day. So this was great when I had a hole in the meal train and there wasn't anybody bringing food over, and I knew I was going to need something for dinner or food the next day. I would just take something from the freezer and throw it into the fridge. I also made homemade lactation cookies and muffins that I could literally just pull out of the freezer, pop into the toaster, put a little butter on top, and eat that. And it was really great to have that on hand too. I also had energy bars, little squeeze pouches with pureed fruit, things like that on hand, so that if I was hungry, I could just grab something immediately and eat it. It's super important to stay nourished postpartum, and you want things that are as highly nutritious as possible. I also had mineral and electrolyte powder on hand. I use the brands Nectar and Good Anya. It's really important to also stay hydrated because your body is starting to produce breast milk. So in addition to losing a lot of minerals during labor, it's going to be really important for you to stay hydrated to replenish those minerals and replenish the body, but also stay super hydrated so that your body can produce enough breast milk for your baby. Also, I did beef liver supplements, which is like basically nature's multivitamin. It has minerals like zinc, iron, folate, and protein, which support postpartum healing. I also took beef liver supplements while I was pregnant instead of like a prenatal vitamin. So beef liver is something that you may want to look up as well. I found it super nourishing and supportive in pregnancy and postpartum. The next thing is you want warm, comfortable clothes. The body is going through major shifts after birth and is very susceptible to cold, as I mentioned. So it's really important to stay warm and have your shoulders and feet covered, especially if you're giving birth in the winter months. I gave birth in February, so it was very chilly, and I did find that in the middle of the night, when I didn't have socks on or when my shoulders or arms were left uncovered, I would start to shiver very vigorously. So the body's very susceptible to cold, and you want to make sure that you are staying warm. So getting yourself some nice pajamas, maybe some that button down, or what we're going to get into next, which is nursing shirts and bras. So I got these long sleeve nursing shirts, which are great because you can just lift up this flap and take out your breast. So instead of unbuttoning or opening up or pulling up a shirt, I could still have my arms and my chest be covered and just literally have my breast out. So these were great. I got them on Amazon. I think I ordered a pack of 3 of them, and I wore them religiously for probably the first 3 months postpartum. Also, nursing bras are really important because For me, my nipples were so tender, it actually felt good to have a bra on during the day. That may be different for you, but you want bras where it's very easy to pull your breast out. These have the little clips here, where you can just pull down and your breast is out, or you can get nursing bras like this, where you can literally just pull it down and your breast comes out. So getting yourself some postpartum nursing bras, I highly recommend. Next, I want to mention a peri bottle. So this is the peri bottle that I use. This is really helpful for cleaning your vagina when it's super sensitive after birth and you go to the bathroom. You don't want to wipe yourself because it's very sensitive. So you just fill it with water or like an herbal solution I did, and then you squeeze up and it shoots water at your yoni and just cleans everything off, and then you don't have to worry about wiping or trying to clean yourself. This was great for immediately after birth, especially if there's any stinging when you pee, which might be from little micro tears. I had a little bit of stinging, and so I would spray myself with water while I was peeing, and that would help to relieve any stinging. But essentially you just want to keep yourself clean down there, and it's very sensitive, so you're not going to want to like wipe yourself. I would spray and then pat myself clean. This is the Freedom Mom upside down peri bottle. I highly recommend this, or any other upside down one. You don't want the regular ones that shoot like this. It's a lot harder. So anyways, just get yourself an upside down peri bottle. Highly recommended. Next, I would look into some sort of cooling spray for your vagina. I use this Earth Mama spray. This is a natural one that has herbs and stuff in it. You can also look up recipes for making padsicles, which are essentially pads that you put like witch hazel and stuff, and you put them in the freezer, and you can put them in your underwear. You can use aloe vera. I used fresh aloe vera, put in the fridge, and then put that as like a pad in my underwear. Witch hazel or Tux pads, especially if you have hemorrhoids, Tux pads are great. Highly recommend this perennial spray, or just finding yourself some perennial spray that you like that feels good for you, or some way to put some cooling on your vagina. Next is disposable period underwear and pads and liners. I prefer to go the organic route because I don't want chemicals and fragrances and weird stuff, especially on my yoni when I'm trying to heal. So I use the brand Rael. They have great disposable period underwear, which I wore for the first probably 4 to 5 days when the bleeding was pretty heavy still. And then I moved into pads, and then I moved into liners. I think my bleeding was about maybe 4 to 6 weeks, but at the end it gets lighter, and that was when the pads and the liners came in really handy. But I do love that brand Rael. There's another brand as well that you can get organic. I'm not sure what it's called, but you can find them on Amazon. Definitely really important to have those on hand for yourself. Next is a nursing pillow. So this might not seem like it's for you, but it is, because all that nursing and forward sitting is really gonna be a lot of work for your neck and your back and your shoulders. So I got this one. This is the BB Hug Me brand. I love it because you can move these little pebbles and you can make it, you know, tighter or looser. You can tie it around your waist. You can also use it for tummy time for your baby. I just found that this one was really great. It's by a good company that I think is in Europe, so it's clean and doesn't have a bunch of toxic chemicals in it, but there are tons of breastfeeding pillows out there. I would say from the list of things that I had on my registry, a breastfeeding pillow was like the #1 thing that I was like, wow, I'm so glad we had this. And I still really use it a lot, but I love this brand. Again, this is BB Hug Me. They also have a pregnancy pillow. I didn't use it, but I really love this. And now we still have ways that we can use it with our baby. I still use it for breastfeeding every day. So get yourself a great breastfeeding pillow. The next thing is a back pillow for the bed. So you're gonna see this behind me, it's this gray pillow. Especially at first, when you're healing, you're gonna be spending a lot of time in bed nursing, and I didn't wanna deal with like adjusting pillows behind me and making sure that I was supported. I loved having this pillow here because I knew that it wasn't moving around, and it was great to just lean back and breastfeed my baby during the day, in the middle of the night, anytime, and it's still really great to have. I know I can just sit here and I don't have to, again, fumble around with pillows falling behind me. It's been something that I didn't really expect to get, but I ended up getting it, and I'm so glad I did. I just found mine on Amazon. They make them in different sizes for whatever size bed you have. This one's a Cal King. Again, I love it. It's been super helpful for me. Next is a sound machine. So I used a sound machine before I got pregnant just to help me sleep because I live in close proximity to other people and I live in a smaller home. So I just like having it to drown out noise anyways. But I love it for postpartum. I love it for my baby. It just signals him whenever it's nap time, and it helps to drown out any of the outside noise. So a sound machine's really helpful. I've heard so many people recommend the Hatch. That's not the one I have. I have a different brand. I have the one that's, it's called the Electro Fan. Again, it doesn't really matter, whatever you want, just get yourself a good sound machine. It's gonna help with sleep. Next is a rocker. So we found a rocker recliner on Facebook Marketplace for I think $160, and it's been great. Some of the rockers are not also recliners. I am really glad that we got a recliner because there were some nights when I was up feeding with the baby and I would fall asleep in the rocker and I could just recline it and fall asleep myself as well in the living room. So it was nice not to have to get up and come back into bed and wake him up and wake me up. So I really suggest if you're gonna get a rocker to get one that also reclines. I just found for me it was super helpful. Next is a bath water filter. So I didn't bring it over here with me to show you because it's wet, but baths were personally a godsend for me, not only postpartum, but when I was pregnant as well. I loved Epsom salt baths postpartum and when I was pregnant because I felt like it really nourished my body, helped me heal. In postpartum, there's no way I was gonna stand long enough to take a shower for at least probably the first week. I was only taking baths. But it's really nice to know that your bath water is filtered for you and for your baby when you're ready to bathe them in the bath. The nice thing about the one that I have is it hangs over the faucet so you can move it to anywhere in the house. I was bathing the baby in the kitchen in an infant bathtub for a while, and so I would take the water filter in there and use it to filter the water into the bath in there. You can take it when you travel. It's super great to have. I think the one that I have is from a company called Pure Water Freedom. So I do recommend, because there's a lot of junk in tap water, like pharmaceuticals, fluoride, things like that I just really didn't want absorbing into my skin when I was pregnant, and especially not into my baby's skin. So I did find that taking baths, especially Epsom salt baths, postpartum were super helpful. They also really helped me during pregnancy with leg cramps and sleeping and things like that. So, and just staying mineralized in general. So I really do recommend not only getting yourself a bath filter, but taking Epsom salt baths altogether. So get yourself a nice big bag of Epsom salt. If you're a Costco member, they do have it at Costco. Otherwise, just get a bunch of Epsom salt for yourself postpartum. Okay, the next thing is a mattress cover, a mattress protector, and a second set of sheets. So postpartum is a very wet time. There is lots of blood, tears, milk, pee or poop from a baby. So get yourself a second set of sheets so that when one set is being washed, hopefully by a friend or a family member, you can have a fresh set on the bed, and a mattress protector to go under those sheets so that if blood or whatever, pee or milk gets spilled, it will protect your mattress long term. So it's just nice to have if you plan on co-sleeping or having your child in your bed at any point in time, which I'm sure will happen. Just get yourself a mattress protector. It's worth it to protect your mattress, which probably costs you a lot of money. Next is nipple balm or silverettes, something to protect and support your nipples during breastfeeding. I got this Mother's Love brand. This is actually the diaper balm, but I got their nipple balm. I gave the rest to a friend. But I really liked that. It was helpful for me. Breastfeeding was really hard for me for the first 8 or 9 weeks, and I was, hissing every time my baby latched because it was just, so tender, which is totally normal. So I used that nipple balm from Mother's Love. There's also an Earth Mama brand that I believe is clean as well. I did try the silverettes, but they didn't really seem to do much for me. Some people swear by them. Some other things I loved for my breasts was the Lancino cooling breast packs. You can put them in the fridge or the freezer, or they can be heated up in the microwave if you have like a clogged milk duct. But I kept them in the fridge and the freezer, and I used them on my breasts when I just wanted some relief from the intensity of just, getting my breasts used to breastfeeding at the beginning. Next is this Wish Garden Baby Blues. This is actually the Happy Ducks for Happy Milk Ducks, but I had the Baby Blues tincture, and I feel like it really helped me day 3 and 4. So day 3 and 4 postpartum, this is the time when like the craziest dip in hormones happens in the human body. Like you go from super, super high crazy hormones to super, super low, really, really fast, and it can be really emotionally intense. I use that tincture to support me through that time and all of early postpartum, and I felt like it wasn't too intense for me. I felt like it did support me. I did have an intense time. For me, it was day 4. Lots of people, it's day 3. But it really helped. And that's also the time when your milk comes in. So it's just a really intensely emotional time. It's nice to have a little bit of herbal support for that time. So I really loved it. Again, this brand is Wish Garden. You can get them on Amazon, but also just directly from their website. I was exhausted after a 44-hour labor and sleep deprived, and my vagina was healing, and I could barely walk, and I had a new baby, and it was just like my nipples were raw from learning to breastfeed. It's just a lot going on. So there's a lot of emotions, and it's a really intense time. So also be aware that day 3 or 4, whenever that happens for you, may not be the best time to have visitors. I really didn't want anybody around except my mommy and my husband. So the last thing I want to offer to you is to take some sort of postpartum course or a book. I read The Fourth Trimester by Kimberly Ann Johnson, which I did feel was supportive. I also took a course by the Free Birth Society called Postpartum in Bliss, which educated me all about how important it was to stay warm, good types of foods to eat, the type of physical and emotional and mental support that I would need in postpartum to, stay healthy and stay, balanced for what I needed. So I felt like that was extremely positive and supportive for me. So you can look into doing something like that as well. So definitely educating yourself and preparing yourself and just understanding the basics of postpartum, which most doctors, I would say, don't educate people on. So it really is up to us to make sure that we're educated on how to take care of ourselves postpartum, because there's really not a lot of support or awareness in our culture of how to do that. So it's up to us to set ourselves up for success, which is why I'm so happy that you're here. And I hope that you got something valuable out of this video. Thank you so much for being here and watching this video. I hope it inspired you to set yourself up for success in your postpartum time, because again, it is so important for your physical, mental, emotional health, for your breastfeeding relationship, for your relationship with your baby, and just setting yourself up to, come out of this very intense time as well as you can be. So if you want more videos on this topic, pregnancy, postpartum, birth, you can check out my pregnancy playlist on YouTube, where I'll have more videos coming. I'm gonna share my birth story and my pregnancy story probably coming up. I have videos on how I prepared more mentally and physically for pregnancy and birth, so you can check out those videos or future videos coming. If you're listening to this on the podcast, head over to my YouTube channel to get those. If you're watching this on YouTube, head over to my podcast if you want more content from me there. Feel free to come over and say hello or ask any questions over on my Instagram. I love to meet you and hear from you, and I love to create content based on what you guys are desiring to see from me. So feel free to reach out there. I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and sending you so much love and healing and blessings on your time of pregnancy, birth, and postpartum. Lots of love, Mama.